hydrochloroquine issue, HCQ, with a zinc. Okay, so I asked myself, okay, so what's the deal with this? And basically, the HCQ makes it possible to raise the pH inside a cytoplasm, inside a cell. Okay, so for me, I walk in the world of medicine because I have at my command all the knowledge, and being technically competent, I can assess the validity of these ideas. So I walk in there and I say, okay, so we know that a high pH will kill this virus. Okay, so it's generally understood. Okay, so how can we make the virus, or how can we have a higher pH in our cells so we can kill the virus? Because the virus basically gets in each of these cells and it just starts replicating using the RNA mechanism, and it starts replicating, and then it starts spreading, and then it blows the cell up and starts going everywhere else, and that's what happens. But by increasing that's how the quinine works. It basically increases allows the cell inside the cell to increase the pH. And zinc is an ion that goes in there and does that increasing of pH. So that's how it works. And that more than 1 billion people have taken HCQ, but it has to be used quickly. As soon as you're exhibiting symptoms, it has to be administered, because otherwise your body is just overcome with the virus, and so you miss your opportunity. And so I don't know. Right now we have the virus or the vaccines being pushed to society, when they should have pushed HCQ, which already had 1 billion users.
Yeah, this is probably the number one thing that got me skeptical. Like this thing right here, and then doctors being told that they can't use it. I'm like, what the heck's going on here?
Yeah, no, I agree. It was too weird for me, having already gone along with the CO2 idea in the beginning, built a company around it, and developed technology. Taking the assumption that CO2 was a bad thing, or as a threat in some degree, and then discovering that these guys are full of it. That this stuff there's nothing wrong with CO2. It actually has a net cooling effect on the planet through photosynthesis, and it's the basis of all the. You gotta realize phytoplankton. My goodness, what zillions of tons of phytoplankton, and all the trees, and all the plants in the world. They're the basis of the animal kingdom, because we all eat ultimately the plants are the basis of the food chain. So here we are saying, and the carbon of the plants comes from the air predominantly. It doesn't come from the ground; it comes from the air. So the CO2 in the air is the basis of all life on Earth. And it's an endothermic reaction in photosynthesis. And so it's taking the heat out of the atmosphere. So CO2 allows the atmosphere to cool by creating plant life. So it's like, whoa, I mean, how are these people going on with this point? It's 0.04% of the atmosphere. Man, we are lucky. We've got that baby at that little tiny amount of CO2 in the atmosphere. My goodness, a lot of scientists are saying, because everybody's challenging the CO2 now, but a lot of scientists are saying that we historically we're at a really low level of CO2. And so this is, but then, like I say, as soon as you discover an consistency in such a glaring inconsistency, then you automatically become skeptical of the next issue, and the one you've hit there, the vaccines, the irrational behavior, the politicized, it's a politicization of the presentation. You can see somebody's gaining somehow from this, because they're not talking sense, and there's other ways to say that, but they're not talking sense. And so what we have then is we have to all, okay, so there's no one is going to tell you what fake news is. Nobody's going to tell you how to assess the validity of ideas. It's something you have to learn yourself. And so all people have to learn to think. Okay, what is that? That's called education. Okay, now, so when we're not capable and confident in our ability to think for ourselves, then we got a problem. And that should not be happening. It should be working the other way. You should be able to get out of high school and be a competent, capable young professional. Okay, before you even enter university, you want to enter university. You want to gain specialized knowledge. And so at that point, you should be, capable of making a living at all in the first place. And you should basically be able to augment your living with education. We should have a different kind of world than we have. But, we've got what we got. And the most important thing is how can we improve where we stand? And because there's so many of these forces acting that are with questionable motives and peddling misrepresentations of reality, it's not going to be an easy job to improve the human condition, or I don't like to use that human concept, but the state of our world is going to be difficult to change and improve because there's so much disinformation.